Hello everyone, my name is Siso. I'm also known as Coach Boo. Welcome into the Mathsbuddies tutorials. In these tutorials, I get to share with you methods and also expose you with some of the most amazing questions you'll ever experience. So if you are returning to the channel, I would like to thank you for coming back. And if you are new, I would like to welcome you into the channel. And lastly, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you won't miss when another video gets uploaded. So without wasting any further time, we're going to jump straight into today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to be focusing on functions. In these functions, basically, we're going to be including also the cubic function. So let's go ahead and jump into the question and read what it says and go into the questions that we have below. So the question here goes as follows. The diagram shows the graphs of the following, which is f of x, which is minus x cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, and g of x, which is minus 2x squared plus 3x plus 2. The graph of f and g intersect the points D, E with f on the y-axis and E, the point which is 2 is to 0. Now f is a point on f with coordinates 4 is to minus 2. Alright, so before we can even go into the questions, what is the first important thing that you must do here? The first important thing is to understand the type of the functions that you're given. Here we see that firstly we're given f of x, which is minus x cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d, right? So we know that this is what? This is a cubic function, right? So I'm going to write it as a cubic function. And also we are given g of x, which is minus 2x squared plus 3x plus 2. And this is a parabola, right? Or let me just say quadratic. All right. So the first thing that you always need to do when you're given a function is to see if you can get all the qualities of the function, or if you have any information that you can get from the function that you're given. Now here, I know that here in the quadratic function, I'm given this full equation here, and this value here, I know that it is my y-intercept. So if I'm looking to the diagram here, I can see that this is where the y-intercept is. So this gives me a hint that here d is going to be the value of 0 to 2. So these are things that you first need to make sure that you get out, right? So what about the cubic function there? In the cubic function, I don't have much information yet, but I can see that the first thing that I can get on the parabola, it is there's a y-intercept, right? Another thing that I can also get here, of course, just gonna list them here. There's the turning point, and also I can find the x-intercepts, right? Then out here, what else that we're given? We're also given that f point, which is 4 is to minus 2, it is on the function f. So I know that there in that equation I have the point which is 4 is to minus 2, and also I can see e is also an f, so which means I have e which is 2 is to 0, and also I have d there, which is the y-intercept. So this then tells me that f also has d, which is 0 is to 2. Okay, so now here, once I get all of this, this is going to basically help me to understand what is happening, right? So also in the cubic function, one thing to add is that here the value for d, it is the y-intercept also for what? For the cubic function. So this helps me to understand how the function works, and these are some of the things that you can basically take out when you're looking into the question. So let's go ahead and jump into our first question and then answer all the ones that we're going to be getting that will follow. All right. So the first question 10.1 here, they're saying that we need to calculate the values of B, C, and D. All right. Now B, C, and D, we can see that these are the letters that we see in the cubic function. So what does this mean? So it means first things first, we need to make sure that we write the equation that we're given for the cubic function. So we have minus x cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. All right. Now, because of we're given a cubic function here, we want to find these unknowns. So the first question that would come into your mind is, what is it that we have about the cubic function? So we can see that about the cubic function, we have the 4 points, right? So the first one, which is f, 4 is to minus 2. And then the second one, it is e, which is 2 is to 0. And another one, it is d, which is 0 is to 2, right? Now, out of these points, we can see that d is the y-intercept. So which means if d is a y-intercept, then the value that we have there, it is basically the value for d here, right? So which means that the first thing that we're going to do here is to say that the value for d, right, is equal to 2. Now why do we do that? It's because here, if we're saying in y-intercept, right, x is 0, this basically means now we're going to be substituting 0 here, and there, and there. And then once we do that, we're going to be left with that, right? And then here you'll notice that now 0 is the x coordinate of d, so it means now the y coordinate is going to be what? It's going to be 2, hence d is equal to 2, right? So now here we see that the first value that we got, first letter we got, it is d, so we have d. And then now after that, what we're going to do is we're going to update our equation, because every time when you get an unknown, it is easy to basically update the equation so that you can see what is happening. So right, let's see here. So right now I see that this is my equation, so I'm done using with d, so I have this part and that part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute the value for f, which is 4 is to minus 2, and see what that gives me. So when I substitute here, because if I have two unknowns, it means I can do equations here, right, or simultaneous equation. So let's substitute here. So when I'm substituting here, I have minus 2 is equals to minus 4 cubed plus b into 4 squared, and then plus c into 4 plus 2, right? So this is going to be minus 2, and then from here we're just going to be pressing our calculator. So I have minus 4 cubed, right? And then here I also have that 2 there, so I'm going to say plus 2 because those are standing alone. So this is going to be minus 62. So I know here I have minus 62, and then this minus 62 basically it's when I'm combining this plus 2 and this minus 4 cubed. And here I have 4 squared, which is 16. So I'll say 16b, and then I have 4c. Now when you're looking into this, you can see that I'm going to take this minus 62 across, and then this will basically be positive 62, which will then subtract with minus 2 and give me 60. And then here I'll have 16b plus 4c. Then I can see I can divide by 4 everywhere here. And when I do that, here, this then becomes 60 divided by 4. This becomes 15. And then here we get 4b plus c. So this becomes my first equation. So now here I'm going to go into my equation 2. So to get to my second equation, I'll use the other point, so which is the value for e. So remember now the equation is still minus x cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus 2. So now I'm substituting 0 is equals to minus 2 squared plus b minus 2 squared, sorry, this is cubed, plus c into 2 plus 2. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing here, basically pressing this one, which is minus 8 plus 4b plus 2c plus 2, and then this with that, it gives me minus 6. So I have minus 6 plus 4b plus 2c, bring it across, so c6 becomes 4b plus 2c, and then I'll divide by 2 everywhere, and I get 3 equals to 2b plus c. So this is going to be my equation 2. So I have the first equation there, the second equation there. So then from here, I'm going to have the equation 3, which will be 3 minus 2b. I'll then make it equation 3. And of course here I'm going to sub 3 into 1. Now, what was the first equation? The first equation was 15 equals to 4b plus c. So now let's go ahead and substitute. So it's going to be 4b plus c is 3 minus 2b. Now as you can see here, I'm going to be solving for the value for b. So take this across, and then you get 12. And then 4b minus 2b, it gives you 2b. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Therefore b is equals to 6. Now from here, if b is equals to 6, then therefore the value for c will be 3 minus 2 into 6, and then the value here, it will be minus 9. Therefore we have b, c, and we also have the value for d there, and that is going to be our final answer. Now what does this mean now? So this means now the value for f of x, right? Equation for the f of x, it is minus x cubed, right, plus 6x squared minus 9x plus 2. All right, so now let's go ahead and look into the second question. So the second question, it says now we need to determine the coordinates of the turning point of a and b of the graph of f. All right, so now here, because of we're dealing with the cubic function, the turning point, it means we need to take the derivative and make it 0, right? Whenever you're dealing with a turning point, you always say that the derivative of f or of the cubic function or any function must be equal to 0. Now if f of x is that, what is our derivative? So the derivative for this one, it is going to be minus 3x squared plus 12x minus 9. This is going to be equal to 0, right? And from here, we can see now we need to solve for x. So this is going to give us the x coordinates of what? Of our turning points, right? So here we have x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals to 0. And then now here we're going to factorize this. So this is x and x minus 1 minus 3. So x is 1 or x is 3. Now that we have the values, what are we going to do? So now we're going to be substituting these values back into our original equation. So the original equation, it is the equation for f. So we're going to substitute that minus 1 cubed plus 6, 1 squared minus 9 into 1 plus 2. And I press that in the calculator. So we're going to do the same thing on the side. 3 cubed plus 6, 3 squared minus 9, 3 plus 2. All right, so let's go ahead and take out the calculator and do the first one. So the first one is going to be 1 cubed plus 6, 1 squared minus 9, 1 and plus 2. Then the answer is going to be minus 2. So basically it means now the point for 1 has y value of minus 2. Then we're going to do the same thing on the next one. So the next one, we're going to be substituting the value for 3. So when we're substituting the value for 3 here, we're getting 2. So this means now our value is 2 here. So basically it means the x coordinate is 3, then the y coordinate is 2. Now looking into the diagram, you can see that this is the point for A and that is the point for B. And that is how we get our answers. All right. So the next question, 10.3, it says here that we need to determine the coordinates of the point C that is on G, right? Where the gradient of the tangent of G is equals to the gradient of the tangent to F through the point F on F. All right. So now here, basically what they want us to find out here is to find these coordinates here, given that the tangent that is passing through this parabola, it has the same gradient as the one passing through that one, right? So basically the easy way to do this, basically, it is to look into the diagram and see what we have first, or to just use this point as our point of reference, right? So basically the easy one that I would use is to find the gradient using this point, right? And then after that, that gradient, basically I'm going to equate it to the gradient that I will get on the parabola, and then that will help me to find the x coordinate and also the y coordinate of C. Okay, so how do I do this? So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the derivative that I had for my graph of f. So if you remember, we had minus 3x squared, right? I think it was plus 12x minus 9. Let me just double check. Plus 12x minus 9. All right. So now basically here, this is already a gradient, but then now to find its value, I'm going to equate it with, I'm going to put in the point of x here and see what I'm going to get. So when I do that here, what I basically get is minus 3 into 4 squared plus 12 into 4 minus 9. And then when you press this on your calculator, basically you're going to be pressing it like that, and then the value that you're going to be getting here is going to be minus 9, right? So here we have our minus 9. Now this minus 9 is the gradient. This gradient is the same, therefore this gradient that we get here, it is the same. Let me write it like that. The gradient that we got now, which is of 4, it is the same as the gradient that we're going to be getting on the derivative at the x coordinate of c, right? Because that's what they're saying here, right? So now here we have minus 9. Now what is the derivative of g of x? So knowing exactly what g of x is, what we're going to do is our derivative is going to be minus 4x plus 3, right? And then from here I'm going to be using that to solve the x coordinate of c. So take this across, then it gives you minus 12, and then you get minus 4x, and then you divide this by minus 4 and this by minus 4, and then basically x becomes 3. And then after getting that, of course, you're going to go back into the original equation for g, and then you're just going to substitute your value like that. And then let's see what we get when we do that. Okay, so y becomes, let me take that, so I have minus 2 into 3 squared plus 3 into 3 plus 2, and then our value becomes minus 7. Minus 7, therefore the point for c, it is 3 is to minus 7, right? Now another way that you could have basically done, it would have been to basically, as you can see here in this diagram, they hinted you that this is like a vertical distance, right? So you could have actually taken the x coordinate of b, because if you remember, the x coordinate of b was 3, right? So you could have easily taken this x coordinate, and then after just taking this x coordinate, because of you can see that this is like a vertical line, right? You would have actually used that to find the point of c by substituting c there. But then now here, of course, they didn't say that this was a vertical line. So if they didn't say, we cannot assume that it is a vertical line. Unless here, yes, because of we have this, we can actually confirm that it is a vertical line because it is perpendicular, right, to the x-axis. So yeah, another way that you could have done this actually, it would have been to take the x-coordinate that you found it there and make it the x-coordinate here, and then basically substituting this value to the original equation to find it. All right, so now the last question, it says let's determine the length of the line segment joining B and C. All right, so now here we're calculating BC. So of course, calculating BC, it is going to be the y value at the top minus the y value at the bottom. Now our y value at the top, it is the y value for B, which in this case it is 2. So I'm going to say 2 minus, in the y value at the bottom, it is the y value for C, which is minus 7, the one we just calculated right now. There we go. So basically, this gives us 2 plus 7, and then the actual value becomes 9. And that is how we end our video, right? So that's it for this video. If you liked the video, please make sure that you leave a comment and basically tell me what is it that you enjoyed, and if there's anything that you would like me to basically share with you, make sure that you leave that in the comment. And also please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Share this to your friends so they can also benefit from this one, as this will basically help first grow the community and also make sure that we get into the ones that I cannot actually reach. And the only way that I know for sure that I'll be able to do that is through the help of you guys sharing and subscribing and hitting those notification bells. So thank you for this one, and I'm going to see you on to the next one. Cheers.